Good evening, fellow classmates and professor. My name is Bashira Ajiman. I'm of course your classmate, but I'm also a fourth grade teacher at Clinton Elementary School and a second year graduate student at LSU in the Department of Education. The district that I chose for my presentation is the East Feliciana Parish School District. Okay, it's a very rural parish. I'm currently employed in this parish, and I chose it for two reasons. One being that this is my second year at the school in this district, and I'm interested to see the ways in which the learning that happens for me in this classroom I can take back and envision change and envision progress for the district that I work in. And number two, because I believe that rural parishes have unique concerns and needs as it pertains to technology in the education. Oh. Okay, there we go. So a little bit about the location. It's in East Feliciana, Louisiana, which is like 1 hour probably away from Mississippi, an hour and a half. It's a rural parish. It spreads across the cities of Slaughter, Clinton, and Jackson. There are 7 schools inside of the district. 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, and then 1 charter school that is made up of middle and high school. We currently have 2,014 students enrolled in the entire district. So like I said, a pretty small district. I think the student to teacher ratio is about 14 to 1 to 1 teacher, 14 students to 1 teacher. Yeah, I think that's it for around location. Okay, and a bit about student demographics. We currently have a 64% African American students, 34% white students, 1% of our population that identifies as mixed race, and another 1% identifies as Hispanic. 58% of families are considered low income, that consider coming from a low income background, and 82% are considered economically disadvantaged. And a few more, I guess, interesting things is that the revenue that the district spends per student or receives per student is $11,000 per child, which income is very low in comparison with the state average of $24,000 per student. Okay, and a little bit about the academic achievement. The district is has received a letter grade of C on their state's district report card, and as well as a letter grade of C on the student progress. 15% of students in the entire district are scoring at a mastery or above. And 67% of schools in the district are considered low performing. Okay, and this is in comparison with 36% of the state average. Okay, so 36% of schools within their district. Excuse me, I want to make sure I say this right. In any given district, the average in the state, 36% of their schools would be performing low by state standard. However, in this district, it's 67% of the schools in the district are performing low. One highlight though is that graduation rates has increased from 60 to 64% to 85 to 89% over the last 5 school years. So the high school is really working hard to reach their academic achievement goals. For our LEAP, ELA, and math data, I do want to preface that the district is at the bottom 50% of school districts, of all the 108 school districts. based on our math and reading proficiency data. At math, the average for the entire district is 55% proficiency in comparison with the state average of 63%. And then for ELA, we're at 66% in comparison with the state average of 69% proficiency. Okay, and then a little bit about the technology standard. Excuse me. A little bit about the technology standards is that there is no specific plan, and I'm going to explore the website a little bit with you all in a second, but there is no specific set of standards that the district has. They have adapted from the National Educational Technology Standards, so not even the ISTE, but the NETS, and they adopted that in 2008. And we can go ahead and take a look at their standards. So when I go into the district website, and I go down to departments, technology, okay, you can see, like I mentioned earlier, it's a very small school district, okay, and that's very evident because of the amount of people on staff for technology. Okay, there are 3 on-call technology personnel, I guess, on staff for the entire district. Okay, so they go back and forth between 7 schools. So imagine putting in a work order for a broken computer, or any issues with the CPU, or any technological issues that students may have. Okay, it does take a long time. I'm telling you, as somebody who actually works in this district, it can take a long time for work orders to, number 1, be processed, and number 2, be resolved. So we come and we see the welcome mission in the technology department. It says that the district is dedicated to providing the highest standard of service and support to the students, employees, and parents within our community, etc. Okay, and then what I find very interesting is that they highlight this one standard that they adapt. Of course, all the standards were adapted from the NETS standards, but they highlight this one standard, which is digital citizenship, that says that students understand human, cultural, and societal issues related to technology and practice legal and ethical behavior. While this is very important, practicing safe and responsible use of technology, I'm curious as to why other standards are not elevated or highlighted on the website, specifically in regards to implementation, daily use, and the use of technology for advancement of academic achievement and advancement of creativity. So yeah, that's very interesting. This is on their website. When I did a further Google search, I found some documents because I was trying to look for the historical relationship with technology that the district has. And the most concrete thing that I've seen is this 2007 to 2014 district technology plan that was adopted in 2007, where essentially the district laid out 4 specific action steps and details how each action step will be based and implemented, and its benchmarks and strategies for each of the action steps. Okay, like I mentioned, there were no specific standards created. What is mentioned over and over again is the NET standards and its adoption, and how to these are essentially just action steps and plans and goals to implement those standards. So again, this is the technology plan. I think what is useful about this plan is the strategies. I read through most of the entire document, and the strategies seem very promising. I I noticed that they are very specific as well. For instance, things like requiring teachers to receive training in online lesson plan and gradebook systems. I thought this one was very interesting because when I became a first year teacher there was no such training. We do use those systems on course. However, we don't use them to their fullest extent for training. I mean, excuse me, for just on a day-to-day basis. Encore's system has the ability to take take attendance, keep track of gradebook. I believe keep track of behavior as well. Some sort of system that parents can also get into, and also lesson plans are able to be submitted there. However, at this current point, we only use Encores to submit grades. We actually still take roll in a roll book, believe it or not. So that just goes to show you that some of these strategies, while the plan was created and was supposed to go into effect in 2007, I can tell you as somebody who works at the district that a lot of these plans are not currently visible. A lot of these strategies, action steps not currently visible, unfortunately. Let's see. Yeah, so collaborating, continuing to expand computer education courses of study for students. Unfortunately, that is not something that's also hyper visible. Though students at my school do have access to computer labs, they don't have access to highly trained staff. We are not trained to um, help them increase their knowledge of computer and technological programs, um, and the different ways that it can be used and implemented in instruction and in content, curriculum content. However, that was the plan, and that is the benchmark for this plan was supposed to be 2014. So I'm very curious as to what happened. And then I do know in 2019, there were a lot of big shifts in the budget towards numerous campaigns in the district, and one of them was technological advancement. However, there was also a shift happening with a new superintendent, and so I know that that probably delayed a few things. Okay, convergence and divergence. So there is, of course, major alignment because as a result of the direct adaptation of the NETS standards. I found this document as well on the website, and you can see it says adapted from the National Educational Technology Standards for Students, and it is near identical after looking through the standards. One thing that I did notice is, I guess, divergent is that these standards, number one, outdated in the sense that NETS has been converted into ISTE, but the district has still not adapted the ISTE standards, which tells me that they're not necessarily taking a global initiative or emphasis as it pertains to international awareness or the global digital world. And I think that this just goes to speak to the danger of being in a rural district and getting left behind, and get like that lack of exposure is very evident. And technology should be the bridging of the gap of lack of exposure. However, in this instance, the lack of training and lack of resources is hindering that. Some of the another let me see. I think another divergence is the continuous lack of funding and training. As I mentioned before, the goals and plans that were set in place earlier are not currently visible.